What's up, fam? It's Coach Cam. In today's video, we're going to be discussing, should your training routine consist of both lifting and running? So to start off, yes, it should consist of both if you are a competitive runner. If you're running cross country or track for a school, for a sports league, you should be doing both lifting and running. Now, if you have a race coming up, you should also be lifting and running, right? If you have a 5K coming up, a half marathon, a marathon, an ultra marathon, these are all good reasons to be doing both lifting and running. I myself have done lifting and running previously for a good 7 years or so, from about age 19 to like 26, 27, in that range. So I juggled both for a long time. And I can speak from experience on this that it is difficult to do both at a high level. It's important to really pick one. And if you're a competitive runner, then you have picked running, and the lifting will supplement that. And then you can also choose to put most of all of the energy that you have toward lifting and let running kind of supplement that if you choose to. Another good reason to say that yes, you should be lifting and running is that you believe that it gives you uh, an improved cardiovascular fitness. It makes you fitter. It improves your cardio. Those would be reasons that somebody would choose to run and lift, right? To run alongside their lifting. I'm kind of assuming that everyone's lifting in this conversation and that you are either adding running into that or you're not. So if you believe that you have to run in order to be fit and have a fit cardiovascular system, then you're going to add running into that, right? And I believe this for a long time, even though after I stopped running competitive cross country and track and I just ran on my own with some of my friends, we did some races here and there, and I saw my 5K time get slower and slower. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm so much less fit than I used to be. Well, during this whole time, I was lifting very, very hard. And I realized that it's not that I'm less fit, I'm just less specialized in one specific skill that is running. So, if you believe that you have to run, swim, bike to be cardiovascularly fit, then you're going to need to do those things to fulfill that belief that you already have in your head, right? You don't want to feel like you're out of shape or to think that you're slow, especially if you used to run and you used to be fitter, have a faster time over certain distances, and then now you don't. I can completely sympathize with the idea that you would believe that you need to keep doing that. And it's a battle that a lot of us former athletes face, is how do we justify the fact that we used to run such faster times and now we're so slow? Even if you're not overweight, you can still be very slow. Like my 5K time, for example, used to be 16:07, like low 16s for several 5Ks. And then after a few years later, I was in the like 19-minute range, and then after that I was like 21-minute range for 5K, 21, 22. So, am I a couch potato? No. But am I specialized in running anymore? No. So, if you believe, once again, if you believe that it makes you fitter, then you're going to need to do it. And that kind of just goes to say that if you're going to run with your friends, if you're going to compete in it and you don't want to feel terrible during the run, it's worth practicing running. If you want to get better at running, practice running. That is how you get better at running. If you do intervals, right, hard running, that's going to help you on a race day, because race day is hard. It's not easy running. So easy runs, while it's a good like break-in period, you actually need to be training with harder intervals down the road if you want to see bigger improvements in your race times. And then the next and last reason that you should be running alongside your lifting is that you love it, right? So if you love running, I'm not going to sit here and say don't run. Go for the run. I just went for a little run with my 2.5-year-old son tonight, up and down the street a couple times, and he loved it. And I'm planning on doing that with him because I think it's a simple way for him to get introduced to pushing himself hard. He will get some benefits throughout his body because he's contracting his muscles, he's getting his heart rate up. So I think it's a win-win. It takes no equipment. It's kind of hard to get a 2-year-old to like do a lifting routine. They don't even make weights that like function for someone that small, let alone his attention span. So running is actually a perfect avenue to get energy out in the evenings before he goes to bed. So I'm not anti-running. I'm going to be doing it with my 2-year-old, like super easy jogging for me, obviously. But if you love running, then yes, you should run and lift. So now I want to talk about what are some reasons that you should not be running alongside of your lifting routine. So the first reason is you don't have any races coming up. You have no 5Ks coming up, no half marathons, no marathons, nothing's on the books. So you don't need to add running into your already existing lifting routine, right? The next reason is you don't love it, right? You don't like running, you hate it. You just your mind hates it, right? There's people out there that just completely hate running. They don't understand it, they don't like it, they don't want to do it, they don't want to see anybody else doing it. And if that's your take on running, then don't do it because you don't love it. You're going to hate it. You're going to be miserable doing something that you've already made up your mind that you hate. So that's another good reason of somebody who should not add running in to their existing lifting routine. The next reason is you keep getting injured. You keep getting injured from running, it's there's a good chance that you should stop running. And I know that's the last thing runners want to hear. And I'm not saying like stop forever, but I am saying you need to take a break from running. You need to strengthen your body and maybe try to get the benefits of running and the uh, the activity of running with less volume, right? You probably are running a lot of miles. And even if you're not, maybe you're doing more running than your body is capable of, than your body is conditioned to or used to, right? Your body, when it comes to workouts, it only really knows what it's done recently. It only really knows what it's done in the last week or two. And so if you go from 0 miles to like 5 miles every single day, that's probably too much for most people's calves, tendons in their legs to handle, right? So you're begging to get an overuse injury if you're going to jump into distance running. It's a high impact sport and you need to slowly work your way into it. The next reason that you want to not add running into your lifting routine is that you understand that running is not the only one and sole way to measure your fitness, right? To measure a cardiovascular type of fitness. So you understand that contracting your muscles is the stimulus for adaptations to your body, strength, size, cardiovascular improvements. It's all from contracting your muscles. So if you can understand that, you can say, hey, I don't need to run. You know, maybe you can push a sled, right? Or maybe you can just perform your exercises in the gym very, very hard, right? Moderate weight to muscle failure. And you stimulated your cardiovascular system. You know you're tired. You know you worked all the muscles of your body, your heart, your lungs, everything was working. So you did perform cardio, even though you were just in a gym using resistance, right? You're just taking what would be running, kind of an indirect stimulus on your legs, and you're making it a direct stimulus by locking into a leg press and pressing your muscles in the resistance until failure. Same, same thing as far as the cardiovascular system is concerned. You just directed the stimulus directly to the muscles, and you're going to get size and strength benefits that running is not going to give you. So I think it's important to understand that, and if you can understand that, you will free yourself from being captive to the idea that you have to run. And I know that was me for several years. After I was done competitive running, I still felt like I had to do it. Like I was still measuring myself up against my friends and up against other runners, And I knew, well, hey, I'm stronger than them. Like, I lift weights now and I do body weight exercises, stuff they can't do. But, I felt like I needed to measure up because that was something I built up in my head over so long. It could happen to you with any sport that you do, You used to be a really good soccer player and now you haven't played in 5, 10 years. You might feel like, wow, I'm a terrible athlete. It's like you're not less athletic. You just aren't specialized in one sport like you used to be. So, anyway, if you can grasp the idea that contracting your muscles is the stimulus for cardio, you can free yourself from having to add in running to your routine. And lastly, I would say you don't need to add running to your lifting routine if you plan on training your muscles as hard as possible, lifting to muscle failure, um, and doing that as part of your lifting routine. So I don't know what your routine is. I don't know if you train very, very hard or if you just move weights from point A to point B until you hit the number 10 and then you stop. Um, if you do train hard to muscle failure, I can guarantee you right now, you are getting cardiovascular benefits. What you're not doing is you're not getting the neuromuscular benefit, the neuromuscular pattern built of running, right? You're not practicing running, so you're not getting that motor pattern um, specialized in your nervous system, right? Your spine, your brain, your body's ability to fire those muscles in a pattern to produce a fast 5K time. So you are fit, you are strong. It's just not going to show in a 5K because you don't run enough. You don't practice running enough, right? And let's face it, if you did run a lot, it's going to be very fatiguing on your body, right? So it's some fatigue you need to weigh the cost, right? Is it worth adding in running if it's going to make me more tired and harder to lift heavy weights, right? It's going to make it more challenging to lift heavy weights. I'm not saying there's no one on the internet who can run fast and lift heavy weights because they can, and there are tons of people that can do that. But it is a very rough life, I'll say. It's hard to juggle that, especially if you have a family, a full-time job, 2 full-time jobs. It's going to be very hard to juggle the fatigue you're going to build up. So uh, hopefully you guys took something away from this video and you can decide for yourself. Should you add running into your routine? Does it make sense? Or should you not add running? Make sure you're training your muscles as hard as possible and getting the most benefits you can with the lowest possible volumes in your training, right? So that you can reduce the risk of injury and be stronger in case you did need to run someday. Your body would be more prepared to run by lifting and strengthening your body than somebody who didn't, right? So if you ever wanted to take up running or swimming or biking down the road and compete in that, you would probably have strong enough legs to do so, right? Just have to specialize yourself back to practicing running several times a week and improving at intervals to improve your race performance. So thanks guys so much for watching. If you have any comments about running or lifting, or if you yourself are juggling this idea of should you run and lift, comment down below your thoughts, questions. I'll be happy to answer them. You can follow me on Instagram at coach4_cam, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks.